We're riding down, I believe this is Tree Line Avenue. This is a very picturesque um, portion of where Three Oaks leaves off. What's that? Ben Griffin Parkway, where the Florida Gulf Coast University is located. This is maybe about 5 miles north of that, and so we're riding all the way up till the end of Tree Line to get to what's that? SR 82. It's a very relaxing ride. I really like it. It's even better first thing in the morning. I wish I would have gone earlier than I think this is 10 o'clock, but we couldn't help it. However, at some point we're gonna do this a little bit earlier just to get the full gist of the ride. Because at this point it's getting almost to what's that, 90 plus degrees, and even though we're wearing mesh clothing, it's still the air is still kind of not just hot but very humid. I really like this stretch here. This this kind of makes me a little bit nervous because we saw a deer that was hit by a car here, and so we don't know if there is that chance. Although most of the deer hits, oh, I just got hit by a bug, and it got inside my boot. Um, so it's kind of like really getting to my last nerve. I'm gonna at some point um, make a stop and take care of it. This is brand new asphalt that they laid down, so I'm still a little bit careful about this. And you can see that there's a lot of bicycle riders. This one is very concerned about the coming car. uh, I really don't trust. I rather bike ride and on these roads, motorcycle ride than bike. Although I have a very nice road bike, bicycle that is, that I would love to ride again. Um, Confined to doing spinning at home because I really don't trust the drivers around here. They are really bad. So let's skip a little bit. So here we have arrived at I believe this is Colonial, or even, yeah, Colonial Drive, and it caught me by surprise that it had just rained, so the road is very slick, and I'm starting to get a little bit nervous here, thinking that at any given time I could just slide. So I'm taking it very nice and easy. As you can see, I'm doing well below 50, and we're about to take a left turn into SR 82. SR 82 is another parkway that goes what's that, east west, and I'm trying to be here very careful. As you can see how I'm merging into the lanes, just trying to make sure that my grip is on that edge between the edge of the road and the middle, because there's that sweet spot that will allow you to just have a little bit more grip. So now here we are, uh, getting close to 82. We're stopping here. Um, he, Margaret should be coming up on my right. I'm still bothered by that bug. Like I'm telling Margaret, hey, we're gonna be making this turn here, and then we're gonna make a quick right. I think it's maybe a quarter of a mile, and we are still exploring the our surrounding, even though we've been here for a very long time. Um, but one thing is to it's very different to explore the place in a bike than it is to drive around in a car. Um, I'm looking at a car that's somewhere around my what's that around my 5 o'clock, and and there's a whole bunch of vultures. I'm trying to scare them off of the road because they I have a history of hitting birds with my face. So here we are about to hit a what's that Buckingham Road. Buckingham Road is another beautiful place to ride in. It every year I go to the airfield where they used to train the gunners in World War II, and we of course we are on the second leg of this trip. We're going to be going and meeting our friends at the radio club. It's an amateur radio, and they are. Let me see. Is this the one that they are celebrating the Apollo landing? That anything that has to do with radio and and celebrations is really funny because they celebrate by talking to the 50 states. Now, as strange as it is strange because I don't know. I guess that if you have a club of I don't know, a baking club, you celebrate by baking cakes, I guess. So that's the same thing that we do here. We celebrate whatever by contesting, as they call it, which is calling other radio stations in other states and making a contact, and then you have this acknowledgement, sometimes by mail. They send you this postcard, and you if you're really good at this, if you have that patience, you end up making a big deal out of this, and people are known to make contests of this whole um, activity, and they end up racking up hundreds of thousands of postcards. This is a very anachronistic activity, but um, people still like doing that, and we got into the club because it was basically first it was a year free membership in the club, and then we just continued um, redoing the membership. We met some really nice and very cool and very knowledgeable people in the club, and occasionally we need to put in some work in it, but you know, I guess it's just goes with the territory. If you want to be a geek, you have to deal with geeks, and that's what we do. So here we are in Buckingham, and this is where my GPS started giving me conflicting directions. It started telling me to go into Lehigh Acres. Now, I don't have anything against anyone in that area, but I just hear nothing but bad things about it, so I try to stay away from it. I don't like testing, especially I have a new bike. This the last thing I want to do is to go into a sketchy neighborhood and having to deal with unsavory people. And as much as people just hate to admit it, That is a very sketchy neighborhood. But this, where we are riding through now, is not. This is the outside edge of that subdivision. And again, because there are so many reports of accidents in this area, um, I'm being hyper vigilant and keeping an eye out. When you see me, you see like I'm jerking the steering back and forth, and look how I am not testing my luck by staying all the way to the right side of the road, and I'm checking my rear view mirror, making sure that you can see on the mirror to the right. I can still see Margaret's bike there. This is an awesome ride. It's not. There's nothing wrong with it. The only thing that I'm concerned is with the uncommon trucks that are in the area that create that vacuum, and then there's that really horrendous hairpin turns that I keep hearing in the news that people are crashing and dying in this, and you see it. You see the crosses on the side of the road, and and it's kind of disconcerting. I don't like riding and just seeing realizing that people have died in these roads. But every time I look at the news and I hear that someone has um died in a motorcycle accident or even a car accident, um I have learned to look a little bit deeper into the story, and it usually, when I do so, it ends up being that there was someone that was drunk, there was someone that was not paying attention, there was someone that was not even wearing any kind of protective clothing, and there was one in this same road that we're on. Look at all the skid marks. That ended up being that they were totally drunk, and they even hit a patrol car. To my right there is the Buckingham Airfield. You see that I'm pointing there, and Buckingham Airfield, they trained for many years during the war. The tailgate or the tail gunners. The people that survived that duty were not that many. In fact, there aren't that many that are still alive. Um, that was pretty much when there was either a surface to air bombing. The tail gunners usually used to get hit first, and of course, if there was a chase plane shooting, they would usually hit the tail gunner 9 times out of 10. Um, because if you take out the tail gunner, of course, you're not going to have anybody shooting back at you. So it's a terrible thing. I'm just glad that we are past that type of technology. So there's not that it's not that bad. Um, and that is that. I mean, here we are, getting conflicting reports from my GPS. Is very it's stressing me out at this point because I don't want to. I don't like getting lost. Um, I start double guessing myself. I start thinking that my navigation skills are failing me, and I have a record 10 for 10. I have very rarely get lost, and it's not that I'm bragging here. It's just the way that it went. I was going the right way. There was nothing wrong with it. Was the GPS that was trying to tell me to just turn around. And I was thinking, why should I be turning around and going to Lehigh Acres when this facility that we're going to is not there? So I'm trying to override my own my GPS by thinking the GPS is wrong. So again, the pavement is pretty damp, and again, I am I'm still relearning how to ride. I mean, I used to ride in the 80s, and I was gonna stop there, but I saw that there was too much gravel there, and I didn't want to go and just brake suddenly and then go into gravel, because you know that's a recipe for disaster. So I used to ride in the 80s, and my riding career ended in a very stupid accident. I really didn't get too too injured, but I did total my bike, and I gave up riding until was it last year that I picked it up again, and it's not like getting back on a bicycle. No, it's not. There's a lot of stuff that you have to relearn. Oh, look at this place. Maybe I'll pull into this one. So get into the shade there. So I think I'm right. I think I'm telling Margaret, yeah, I'm doubting my directions, but I'm just, yeah, this should be right. What you see there on my tank is the bag that also is housing a solar panel that is supposed to be able to charge up all of my devices. As I'm learning throughout this ride, that is not the case. It's not really doing a very good job at at recharging. Later on, I find out that it's just enough to maintain a trickle charge when the device is off or something like that. So there you go, Margaret. I think that I got this right. I was right all along. Um, I didn't have to make any U-turns. All I have to do is just there it is. We're about, I don't know, maybe like 2 miles away from the place. So you can't be too careful. It's when you get careless that you end up getting into trouble. So um, these are some of the most awesome things that we've done, and like everybody else, we never were able to do this until just recently. Um, it wasn't the right time. It wasn't the right finances. It wasn't, and now that we are able to do it, every ride is precious to us. Every ride, every time we get on the bike is like the most wonderful thing that we experience. Margaret is hooked on it, which is extremely surprising to me, because I didn't think that she would actually um like this as much as everybody else. But now she she lives for riding just as much as everybody else. Once maybe it's not like that for everybody, but those who get bitten by it, they just become riders. And when you become a rider, you is a whole different it's a different way of living. It has nothing to do with gangs or anything like that. It's just the feeling that you get riding. It's a whole different ball game than just driving around. So as you can see, this place is awesome. This place is very is rustic in a way, but it's not too much. It just has that southern charm to it, if you want to call it that. So we're about to pull in. I remember seeing a picture of Buckingham Farms, and it's a restaurant. It is a farm, but it also has a restaurant, and everything that they serve in the restaurant is grown in the back. So I thought, oh my God, this place is gonna be so packed up. And maybe it is on other occasions, maybe it's not, but it's very laid back. And I'm saying I don't want to park the bike far off because it's so loaded with stuff. I got my side bags loaded with the things that we carry around, first aid kits and stuff like that. And I just made these kits. I'll make a video of this. Um, and so here we are. We finally arrived. Um, I'm thinking maybe I'm being a little bit too forward by parking here, but if there's something that I learned is that people give you a lot of leeway where you can actually park a bike. So here we are. Um, we're totally psyched. We're just like just so happy every time we arrive at a destination, and we power down. Um, and of course, we are as protected as we can possibly be without going over the the edge with chaps and things like that. We have summer jackets, and 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 it works. They have side and back protection. There's the you see in the tail of my bike. I put the Black Widow from Marvel. You can see there. I I grabbed these side bags from online, and they have and I had to just make the whole thing, all of the brackets and everything. So I got my camera now is on my hand. I said to Margaret, what is that T-shirt you got? It says I wanna eat. This is from Agrisuko. It's a new series that on Netflix, and they is about this office worker that has this dark side, and her dark side is that of a of this um metal um vocalist. So when she stresses out, she just goes completely metal on people. So where are we here? I think that I cut to the part where we are. Yeah, we went there and we ate, and everything is peachy. And I think that we're gonna power up at this point. Yeah, I got my jacket back on, of course. Power back on, and every time we suit up, it's like this whole thing. I mean, it's like an 80s montage of suiting up. Um, the gloves are I had to search for weeks for those gloves. Margaret's gloves are even better. They she has the black and pink motif going, and I mean those are zap gloves. She can really hurt somebody with those gloves. They are lead, and those are no joke. They will hurt you. So again, we're going to um go towards the park in um in North Fort Myers, making sure that everything is buttoned up and everything is secure. Um, just trying to be as safe as humanly possible. Uh, we like biking and everything, but we could not. at least I cannot. I'm too old to get into any falls or mishaps. So here we are, um, just about ready to leave. Checking all the tech, and off we go. Love this. This place was awesome. I had this what was it? This breakfast with this bread that they made on the premises, and they had this awesome omelet. It was a three egg omelet and homemade iced tea and all of this stuff. And I was pointing at another farm, but it didn't seem to be the same, the same type of stuff. And here we are. We're heading now towards the north part of would it be considered North Fort Myers City? I think that's would be an accurate um an accurate description. Um, so I'm gonna cut it here. I'm gonna go. Uh, okay, so we are now in Palm Boulevard, something like that. This is this runs parallel to the Okeechobee lake stream. I'm having problems with this because never been up here. This is a very this is pretty far off to where we usually ride around. We usually like going south, and going north is a little bit outside of our comfort zone. But being that we are exploring, this is the best. Just being careful is what we're trying to be. Um, so now Margaret is telling me here that there's some dude that's behind her acting all weird, and people have that reaction to bikers. I don't know why. Um, and bikers have some very weird reactions to us because we are completely suited up, and being suited up apparently tells signals to others that we are um, just scared, and I don't care. I really don't care. Um, we have to look out for ourselves, and the drivers around here are very reckless. The guy that's next to us, he's been driving and texting at the same time, and that's very prevalent. And people start drifting into your lane, so you have to keep an eye out on them all the time. You have to be very very you have to be a paranoid rider around here. You can't be a leisure just right to into a leisure state of mind. That will kill you. Look at the lawyers all over the place. They people around here get so lawyered up that you can actually kill people around here, and I'm not. It's not an opinion. It's an observation. You can actually kill somebody around here with your car, and actually um, get to keep your license. In fact, there has been some court cases recently where people have gotten killed, and nothing but they get. I think somebody just got a ticket for $100 for, and they kill somebody, and they were being negligent, and they drink and drive around here a lot, a whole lot. Um, you can't just sequester yourself and not go out into the road. You see all of those screeching marks on the pavement. That's people being very reckless. And in light of all of that, and with all of the dangers around you, um, it falls on you to be careful and not on them. So if you want to go out for a nice ride, you can do so, but you have to take the bad with the good. So when we go out riding, we are constantly checking with each other. We are talking on our comm links. We are keeping a visual check of each other. Anything um, anything up ahead or anything behind, we are letting each other know, because um, it's it's not up to them. You have to think that you are never seen by anybody. I have a vest that I made that actually blinks, and I'm wondering if that's even enough. I mean, um, I tried everything possible to not be um, invisible, but I'm making the assumption that no one sees me. That I'm going through the traffic, and it's like I'm a ghost, because if I allow myself to become too complacent, I'm gonna end up getting hurt. You see that van? Even though there's a divider there, you can even make the assumption that the divider is gonna actually stop somebody from just jumping the divider and end up killing you. It's not that I'm paranoid, but I'd rather be paranoid. I'd rather be hyper aware. See that pickup? It just sets me off. People making that turn from the left lane into and onto you, gotta keep an eye on them, because they can actually ruin your day. And so far in this is what I considered one of the most perfect rides that we've gotten so far out there. Keep looking at those people popping into traffic, looking ahead of those people to the left. Um, and even though it sounds like I'm just a mess while I'm riding, um, it's a control mess. It's not that I'm out of control, just being paranoid. It's just that I'm used to being um, very hyper vigilant. Um, People get mad at you for riding for some strange reason. They just want to, they cut you off, and they want to teach you a lesson. I don't know what lesson that is, but they want to teach you this lesson because you are being insolent for just riding and just having a good time and all. We're not being reckless or anything like that, but what a view! What a view! This is a beautiful stretch of road, but you know, you can enjoy it. You can take the panorama. You can be in awe, but at the same time you have to be hyper vigilant, or else somebody's gonna cut your ride short. So here we are, about to cross these train tracks that run from north to south, all the way down to Naples. The We're about to, yeah, I think this is the point where we are about to um, approach the this beautiful bridge. You'll see. Um, had we gone driving straight and not turn to the right, we would have ended up in the two summer homes of Henry Ford and Thomas Edison. They they used to hang out down here, and it was a big deal. It is still a big deal. They have these mansions that are historical landmarks, and I believe that there's the one of the Westinghouse heirs has a mansion to the left, I believe. So now this is prime real estate over here. This is where a lot of people love to come in vacation to, and they spend a big part of 6 months out of the year. This is what is considered off season, and during the off season is when you can actually get most of the enjoyment out of this area, because when it's on season, there's nothing but congestion and very obnoxious people. So here we are. We're gonna turn back into Cleveland Avenue, which is 41, and we're heading north towards that park. I forgot. I'm not sure if it's a sand. No, it's not Sandport. It's North Myers Regional Park. Guy without a shirt, like pushing 80, trying to make us think that he's all muscular. So the I wish I could just get the feeling and bottle it up and even show it. The feeling that you get riding this portion of it. It is absolutely gorgeous. The water below you is cooling. It has this cooling effect. And as you hit the bottom of the bridge, you see the hot air coming back at you. You feel that rush of hot air. So it is incredible. There is down by Miami, there is that stretch. I think it's something like 10 miles of an elevated bridge. And if you have ever seen the Schwarzenegger movie True Lies, it takes place on the old bridge that used to go over the Keys. That's in the opposite direction to where we're heading. We're talking about taking the bikes down there, and getting getting accommodations and spending a weekend down there, and just riding in the around the Keys. But it takes a lot of planning, because you're competing with the tourist. You don't want to go in season, because it'll be a nightmare, and out of season it's just as bad. So you want to, the sweet spot is somewhere around the two edges, when right before season and right after season, which means somewhere around Easter. Like right after Easter is a really good time to go into any of these places to go and chill out. You see, if you're noticing on all of the billboards, there's a different lawyer, and is basically traffic lawyers. They are constantly bombarding all the media with with the whole thing. There's a motorcycle lawyer. There's a car accident lawyer. If you get into an accident, then this guy tells you what to do, and then you call him and blah blah blah. And he even has a singing bird that singing his jingle. It is the most ridiculous thing. So now here we're pulling up on this red light, and the funny thing about this red light is that um usually people are being very snobbish towards us when they pull up in their bikes, because we're strange people. We're wearing protective suits, and I'm saying, you look like you having fun, Margaret. And she's like, oh hell yeah. And then I look over and see these two pulling up, and they are in their sneakers and shorts, and it's a wonder that they have these half shell helmets. And I mean, that's as far as secure. And then they look at us and they like, look at those two. They look ridiculous. They look like space people. Like, yeah. So I'm trying to um talk myself into thinking that I don't care about what other people are saying about me being wrapped up in a big jacket, and we even have Kevlar pants with protective um what do you call it, material on our knees and elbows and all of that stuff, and these heavy duty gloves and a full face mask and all this stuff. I really don't care, because at least I have a chance of surviving an accident. And when these people who are not at all protected, when they hit that pavement, it's all over. They lose limbs. I heard somebody losing their toes because they were wearing sneakers. So here we are. We are at the park. Um, Again, we're heading to the pavilion where our friends are at, and everybody is transmitting, and they bring in their own equipment. I'm carrying with me in this ride, and in most rides, but in this ride I'm carrying a very small radio. And is the radio is smaller. I would say it's about the size of a cigarette pack. I don't know if you can relate to that size comparison, but it has 5 watts of power. I actually tested this. It does transmit full 5 hour 5 watts of power, which is more than enough to do anything around the area. Um, we did some testing with the emergency services, which we are part of, and we end up hitting all of the repeaters, which are mini radio stations. He is one of the club members, and we're going right into the pavilion. And I don't know if you can see any of the antennas, but these are very, very, very dedicated people. I applaud their dedication, and I think that I can I do put in my time with the club, and I try to participate in as many um activities as I can, and but as far as um just making it my life now, look, you can see I'd rather be biking than sitting around. um so now I'm putting my solar charger to the test, and it's not really it's not really doing the job. It is really hot. I think that at this point where we are taking off our jackets is about 106 degrees, I believe. I think it was 116 degrees. Yes, it got and it gets that hot. And it is very uncomfortable and it's very sticky and at the end of the day I get really really drained and sometimes I have to end up just just the next day just having downtime. Love that Harley. The Harley is incredible. That Harley is just I don't know. I don't even know how to describe it, but it's wow. It's such an incredible experience.